Everybody, today I got a rare opportunity to review a product that literally just came out. It is a big box from Benchmade. The reason it's big, you already guessed it, it contains a big fixed blade. Here's the knife in the sheath. You get a little piece of paracord and a belt attachment, a hanger. So this is the dagger style fixed blade that Benchmade promoted as a secondary or redundant weapon to the M4 carbine. Obviously you can fit this M7 bayonet on the M4 carbine, and then there's a later version called M9. As far as the blade shape goes, this is the M7. And this is Benchmade interpretation. Benchmade added 3/8 of an inch to the blade length, but subtracted it from the handle. These M4 bayonets, as you can see, that's a direct ancestor of the M7 bayonet. And it has the same basic blade shape as the Benchmade M4 bayonet. Has a stacked leather handle and a blade slightly longer than that of the M7. As you can see, both bayonets have a lanyard with a pistol belt or ammo belt attachment here. That's what this metal piece is for, but they also have a loop that allows you to put it on the trouser belt or any kind of belt you're wearing. So it's a fighting knife. It does not have any provisions to attach it to a barrel of the rifle. An instant success in my eyes, because this thing weighs over 300, like 320 grams without the scabbard, and this knife weighs 169 grams. Here's the weight of the M7 bayonet without the scabbard, and a Benchmade without the scabbard, M7 with the scabbard, and Benchmade with the scabbard. The difference of 7.5 ounces doesn't seem like much. The delta weight is almost equal to the loaded M18 mag, or half the weight of a 30-round mag loaded with 162 grain rounds. And the scabbard itself is very lightweight, and it has a claw that would prevent it from sliding out once you have it attached. Which is great, because my biggest complaint about older SOCP models was you could just shake them loose out of the scabbard. And then the scabbard itself, like all SOCP knives, is MOLLE gear compatible. I can do it single-handed by applying pressure with my thumb on the release here. The only thing I have to say about this, if you were to run with it on your side, it would eventually slide around on the belt. So maybe that's why Benchmade, in their infinite wisdom, provide, and maybe they're just trying to save money on a paracord, but they provide a piece of paracord. I swear I didn't cut it. That's all you got. It's 23.5 inches long. But let me show you, I'm a pretty skinny guy. I don't bench my weight. Yeah, it's tight. My idea is to have it up here somehow. It's not perfect, but it's not hideous. The knife's weight distribution is perfect. It clearly was designed by a person who knows knives. Yeah, so I pulled up some mil specs on the bayonet. I know M4 and M7 meet mil spec called mil B1309. What does it mean? There's some requirements that government wrote that applies to all bayonets and fighting knives. And one of the most interesting requirements in that spec is bayonet knives shall be capable of withstanding the following without fracture of the blade or permanent deformation of the blade of more than 3/16 of an inch. 1.5 inches of the pointed end of the bayonet shall be rigidly held. The grip end of the bayonet shall be slowly deflected through an arc of 1¼ inches to the right and 1¼ inches to the left of the vertical center of the blade. On each hand,
The blade shall be held at the extreme point of deflection for a minimum of 1 second. Testing shall be in accordance with the paragraph 4.5.3.3. I have not read that paragraph, so I'm going to test it my way.
So bear with me. What it looks like. Better. All right. I'm a 170-pound man, and I'm standing on this knife. Obviously, I'm trying to stand as close to the insertion point as possible, and I can always do this. Let's see what happens. With it closed, I'm probably closer to, I'm going to say 178. All right. I don't know if you can see, there's a little deformation on the tip. Can you see it? Yeah. So it's pointing that way. So there's only one thing to do about that, is reinsert and reapply the force. And I think it did the trick. Yeah, no damage. The rock here, this coating is slightly sort of gone.
Endurance test.
Stabbing. Yeah.
This test is done. All that's left to do is operational assessment. Using his fieldcraft skills, the asset penetrates deeply into the enemy golf course. All clear. Time to signal for the team.
And now the most important test any YouTube knife has to handle, paper cutting. Flipping on the other side. I abused this knife for 3 days straight. I threw it at a dead tree at least 50 times. I stopped that tree at least 30 times. I hammered it into a tree with a rock, and then I stood on it. And all the damage is boiling down to this tip discoloration, tiny little edge roll right here, and a barely perceptible play in the handguard. You can feel it, but you can't see it. Obviously, the finish is gone on the hilt. Hey, I'm not a tactical operator. I have an office job. And I hope to never have to bet my life on a knife. But if I had to... Hey everybody, can you see what I missed here? I'll give you a hint, it's the screw. Yep, this is another manifestation of Benchmade's infinite wisdom. No Loctite. Creator of the content is not affiliated with Benchmade Knife Company. Just remember to remove 3 screws, apply Loctite, and retighten them to 16 inch-pounds. Don't try any of these activities at home, they can be dangerous. Do not stand on knives.